There we go. All
All
right,
right.
we're live. Welcome to Totally Uncensored. I'm Mike Robles. This is the podcast where anything goes. Anyway, today we're using the platform for an important cause. Today we're talking about Vanessa Guillen, and I'm happy to have with me the co-founders of No Mas. Everybody's hearing about No Mas. I heard about it. I go, I got to talk to No Mas because they're raising voices, and this is what it's all about. But I have with me Andrew Gonzalez,
Rodriguez.
I'm sorry, Andrew Rodriguez, my bad. Andrew Rodriguez, who was an ex-firefighter and an amateur boxer from what I hear. Is that right?
That is right.
Ooh, a boxer. And then we also have with us Janis Gonzalez, and
That's me.
an investor. You're investing, right?
Yeah, I deal with investments for the last 12 years. That's me.
Okay, and then also now an activist. So now we
Now
know
an
who we have. Okay, so we have Andrew and Jen. First of all, thank you for what you're doing, and I appreciate that. So why don't you tell us about? Let's start with Andrew. Tell us about Vanessa Guillen.
Well, Vanessa Guillen is, a beautiful soul that we unfortunately lost while she was on duty in Fort Hood. She is a H-Town girl, and this tragedy that happened kind of moved a whole lot of people throughout the country. So, Vanessa was 20 years old, gave her life to enlist and serve her country like a hero. And unfortunately, we all know the circumstances that happened with her disappearance, and now that we know her murder. But that's Vanessa. She played soccer, has an amazing amount of friends, as we see out here in Houston all the time. She seemed to be loved by everybody, so it's definitely a tragedy.
Now, Janice, tell us about the circumstances, how this all developed from the beginning. She went missing back in April, I believe, right?
Yeah, in April, the family started questioning the military base, and they even went out to visit and just started asking questions. At that point, she just hadn't touched base with the family or been in communication, and there was it was silence from the base, like eerie silence, and anybody who would talk to them just was it was more questions than answers, or even apathy. And now from talking to extended family members and some of Vanessa's immediate family members, even it was even just an eerie sense of that they knew more than what they were leading on to or relaying to them. So it was a lot of more questions each time they encountered the military base. But yeah, then as time went on, the friends and the family were desperate for answers and just pleading, to the public, pleading to anyone who would listen. And just more questions by the day, more than 60 days of silence before Fort Hood broke silence and did a press conference. It was just.
It's sad. Yeah, missing for 3 months. Then they found out that she was brutally murdered. Her remains just dropped somewhere and then found, and then silence. And the family was asking for 3 months investigation. And Fort Hood was pretty much like, a matter of fact, you know what's messed up? Fort Hood classified her as a deserter.
And right? Gregory Morales as well. They were very apathetic to her legacy. And even now, just Gregory's case just got reversed. So, his status not being AWOL anymore. So it's really, it was really disgusting, smearing their legacy like that on top of not even looking for them. Yeah.
Right. All right. So Vanessa Guillen, everybody knows, missing 3 months. The family is, trying to get answers and so on, and nothing. That's where you guys come in. No Mas. How did No Mas come together? Where did you decide, okay. First of all, tell me how you, Andrew and Janice, how did you two guys meet?
You want to start, Andrew?
Yeah. So on my side, this whole event, I had created a Facebook event here in Houston for a march for Vanessa on July 4th, right? I thought it was a very symbolic day in which, especially Houston, because like I said, she's from here, needed to pay homage to her. Me and hundreds and thousands, well, apparently thousands of other people felt the same way that day, that, we really couldn't celebrate independence knowing, what happened with Vanessa. So, we made that event that Friday, and that was for Saturday, July 4th. So that Friday.
So you created a Facebook event page, right? That's what you did, Andrew.
That's what I did. Yep.
Okay, and then that Friday, the family had organized a protest in front of Fort Hood. And myself, I was like, you know what, I gotta go. I have to go support the family. I gotta go see, what this is about. And I went, and that's where I met Janis. And we spoke briefly about, what we needed to do as a community, especially a Latino community, especially in a time of day where the Latino community really hasn't had a voice in so long to do things. And she pitched me an idea, and what was that idea?
Basically to start. Oh, I'll let Janis go ahead.
All right. So that's where you met. You met at okay. So that's how you met her. You spoke. So then, Janis, where did the creative juices start going? And you said, where did the birth of No Mas come? She disappeared for a second. So we're gonna go with you, Andrew.
Okay.
So she'll be back. So how did No Mas then? How did that?
So basically, she came up to me and said, "Hey, listen, I love your energy. I see what you have tomorrow in Houston on Saturday. How would you like to start a movement? There's different organizations out there right now, like LULAC. We have one down here called Fiel de Houston, and they all stand up for social injustice within the Latino community, obviously. But she was just like, how would it feel to? There she goes.
Yeah, she's back.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm back.
All right, so go ahead, finish, Andrew, and then we're going to jump.
So she was just like, how would you feel about kind of like a newer generation of a movement, something that stands for something in this new generation? Because we all know it's really difficult to get millennials and this new generation registered to vote, go out there and vote, and want to, be impactful in their community. So that's what she pitched to me.
I like that. So yeah, Janis, so he told us more or less you met, and then, you said, how would you like to, so what were your thinking as far as creating this movement? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's what's really interesting about Drew and I is we had a parallel thought. Like, we were doing our own thing in our own respective city, him in Houston, myself in San Antonio, creating the event. We linked up virtually online and then agreed to meet in Fort Hood, like you mentioned, but we were already kind of doing in our own spheres the same thing for the same motivation.
Right.
But something about that energy at Fort Hood really shifted for me. And it really, there was even before when we spoke, when Drew and I were speaking, there was as far as higher purpose and things that I was thinking, but there was very, very much a concept. It wasn't fully formed. And it wasn't until we got to meet at Fort Hood that I was connecting a lot of more things. And I think Drew and I both came to help each other fully realize what we wanted to do as far as that higher purpose. In the wake of Vanessa Guillen's murder, it's what definitely spurred us to action to create the events. But more than that, to create a campaign to continuously put pressure and to continuously have momentum to, move through spaces where there's densely Latino populated communities that often feel silenced. We were just having this very higher purpose conversation of all different topics, like Drew talked about, voter registration or lack of involvement or just feeling powerless that our generation often expresses. And us just both looking at each other why are we waiting for someone to save us? Why? Let's do something. Stop talking about it and let's be about it.
Right.
And
that's good.
And we left that parking lot, and drove back to our respective cities from Fort Hood. And what's funny is this conversation happened right outside the Army recruitment office. That irony is not lost on me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And as we kind of stepped away from the wake, and told the Gans bye, we both, had a tidbit of a, I don't know, a highlight or a preview. We almost kind of knew what we wanted, but not fully. And we were making promises, and holding ourselves accountable to the Gans, just that we were going to try to leverage, the power of social media, leverage what, millennials are good at, and see what we can do to inspire more conversations around Vanessa, keep the conversation, keeping her name in people's mouths and in front of their face that she's seen everywhere.
That's a great example you're making as far as instead of waiting for someone, to help us, let's help, you got to take action, man. You got to create your own voice. And I'm glad that you, Andrew got together and did that. But question for you, Andrew, is what triggered you? What triggered you? What hit you right here when you said, you know what, I got to do something? And I bring that up because I know you had sent me a message telling me, exactly what it was, So tell me about how, it triggered you to do something where you said enough is enough.
So for me, Janis and I both have military, we're military brats, right? So the first string that got pulled for me was, my military family. It hurt because I grew up going base to base, all around the country with my dad, who was a drill sergeant, super hard ass on me growing up, for sure. Yeah.
And Latino drill sergeant.
A Boricua at that one. Yeah.
You must have got hit a lot of times with that little chancla.
Oh yeah, that chancla. But that was the first string that got pulled for me because I felt like growing up and seeing such honor and respect amongst the military, I just couldn't imagine how could this even happen, right? So that was the first string that got pulled. The second string that got pulled is when I see Vanessa, so young, so beautiful. I look at my little sisters, and I have little sisters, the youngest being 10 and the middle one being 20, who wanted to go to the Navy, and just realizing how surreal the situation was of how she could have gotten murdered on the base where there's thousands and thousands of troops there, and how nobody could notice. That really, really pulled on me. It could have been anybody. It could have been my sister, could have been my cousin. And for me, when I thought about that, me and my dad had a conversation, and, he was like, it's kind of messed up that Latinos usually ever get together and speak up for their own. And it just kind of made the hamster on the wheel start going. And I was just like, you know what, it's time to do something. And I know typically, H-Town responds to, things when they're called. And when I put that thing out there, that energy in the atmosphere and made that event, Houston came out super strong, super strong.
Right. And to see and watch the pain, of her mother, man, that was like,
I mean, when I see
that woman crying and in pain and with no answers, and I'm like, man,
I can't
everybody
imagine.
else, you know what I'm saying? Like other groups, like they get answers right away. This poor woman, like that's what it is with Latinos, and I'm glad you did what you did. It's like, we wait around forever. I've been one who's always said that our bark is louder than our bite. We know how to bark, but when it comes to biting, nobody feels us, man. But now what you guys are doing, no mas, hopefully now people are going to start feeling that bite when it comes to, our voices, So,
well, they say if you keep backing up a dog, behind in the back wall, it's going to bite eventually. So I just think the Latino community.
Right. Your backup is against the wall right now, right?
That basically that's what it feels like. There's a lot of injustice out there, but nothing like this, like how we've seen in the past few months. It's crazy. So
right. All right. So now this is why Nomas got together and that. So then I guess Janis, tell us what is the aim? What is the goal? What is it that Nomas wants? I know it's justice for Vanessa Guillen, right? But what exactly is it?
There's a lot of short-term goals, obviously centered around Vanessa.
All right, so when people are out there, when you're out there protesting, and people who don't know, they want to understand. Okay, what is it that Nomas wants?
Yeah, first and foremost, we need that third-party congressional investigation. We need the transparency. We need oversight. The military, as Andrew eloquently stated, we both have that background, and it's just so disappointing to know that they failed Vanessa, and they're still failing her today. And until we have the transparency and that oversight in place, we're not going to find out the root of what happened and who was involved and all the aspects that are still more questions than answered and are unfolding into further questions. And by the day, are getting darker and ominous.
Right.
Short term, right? Once we have the investigation, we want indictments, arrests, not just a military trial, but more oversight in that process so that we can hold those accountable who've failed to not just protect her, but provided sanctuary for those who did or committed the acts, those who covered it up. We know a lot of facts about how, the military moves in and out of secure buildings like an armory, and it's not just like a one-person operation. Removing a body off a military base is a really difficult task. And I can't imagine one person being involved for that, let alone, 3 or 4 that are needed to get past a checkpoint just to get into the building. So when we talk about like all of that, right? Like the arrest, the oversight, the indictments, sentencing, obviously we need accountability, like, so this never happens again. And moving forward, creating congressional bills so that laws are put in place to protect our service people, not just women, but the men also that are suffering in silence and being assaulted, raped, killed even, and not being given any type of justice because there is, military independence and how they're protecting their own to a degree.
Right.
So those are just our short-term goals. I can go on, but we've got some long-term ones as well.
And Andrew, now that, when Janis just started talking about with those goals and that, as a result, it seems that now that President Trump is going to be meeting, right, with the Guillen family and some sponsoring of a bill called I Am Vanessa Guillen, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, that's going to be based on what? Sexual harassment, right? And like you said, transparency. So like in the future, if stuff like this goes down, now there's going to be an independent, right, prosecutor or investigator who's going to do this rather than inside the house, right? Military, right?
Correct.
Is that correct? Yeah. All right, so let's talk about it. Yeah. What I want to talk about now is because not only besides this murder, it also brought light to the fact as far as sexual harassment. Everybody was talking about where is she? She's missing. They found her. Who murdered her and all this. But then I started hearing voices about more and more women who were sexually harassed. And now that's an issue that's being, discussed, and hopefully this bill will help. But do you have any stories you can share as far as women that have been sexually harassed in the military?
Yeah, we've gotten a flood to just the Nomás pages on Facebook and our personal inboxes. Our emails have been inundated with just women coming forward, story after story. And then, just using that hashtag, I am Vanessa Guillen, it's chilling. It's chilling, and it keeps us awake at night to get more and more stories. We've invited them to speak at our events. The victims' testimonies are are some of the most prolific and profound things I've had to listen to. Their accounts. So we just listened to 2 of them on Saturday, and it brought everyone to tears. One of them within my own organization. Really? She's in our ranks and a former Marine. Yeah. She does our logistics, and she's a former Marine, has a background in logistics, and she spoke as a victim. We had people fly from all over the country. And, I know Drew's got several that stand out for him, and I've got several that stand out for me. It's just, it's chilling. It's like it doesn't end. That list, there's no end to the list.
There's too many, but I'm glad they're raising their voices, and hopefully this I Am Vanessa bill, Vanessa Guillen bill, it'll pass. But let me ask Andrew, I'm going to ask both of you a question. Andrew first. You mentioned you had a daughter, 20 years old, thinking about
my stepsister.
Stepsister, thinking about joining the Navy, and she's 20, right? What would you let her? Do you think she should? What advice would you give her, knowing what you know now?
So, I respect our military. I think it's an honor serving, but we've had discussions, and I don't think any Latino or Latina or anybody for that matter should enlist right now until there's some type of justice. If the military and a whole can't protect its armed service members, they have no business going in and trying to enlist people. That's the bare bones minimum that the military offers somebody, right? So forget the check, forget the benefits, forget the college. The very first thing that the military offers is protection when you enlist. And when you hear all these stories of women and men that have gone missing, that are still missing. I mean, there's a list, statistically, there was 14,000 cases that were just reported. And you can only imagine there's probably a few another thousand that weren't due to fear of retaliation. So, the conversation I had with her is, ultimately it's your choice. You're a woman, you can do what you want. But, I just laid the facts down for her, and I told her I feel like she shouldn't. I feel like
you feel like she shouldn't join right now.
She shouldn't, no. Okay. And again, that goes for Latinos and Latinas and anybody for that matter. If they can't offer that simple base of protection, then why even enlist? If you're going to go and fight for your country, but they're not willing to fight for you, what's the point?
How about you, Janis? You have friends, cousins, they want to join the military? Yes, no?
I do. I've several. I actually had several that were contemplating in my own family enlisting here, and this has changed for them. And we actually had a young girl, she's 12 years old, marching with.
I think she's freezing up right now again.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's freezing up.
All right, so that's it. So let's go. So that's. Wait, no, we just lost it here. All right, here's the question I want to ask you. Like, so so you did the Facebook page, right? And that's how people started. But how did this movement, No Mas, how did it grow? Right, it started, and now there's No Mas movements all around the country, right?
Yeah. So
how did you get it to just grow, man?
So it started with the event here in Houston. I feel like that event, not only because I'm from here, but I mean, we literally had thousands and thousands of people come, right? It literally started that day, right? You felt the heartbeat and the blood flow start pumping for the No Mas movement. It helped that we had local politicians. We had Congresswoman Garcia there in attendance, and she spoke and gave us her word about getting a congressional investigation going. We had Paul Wall from here in Houston, who supported the No Mas movement. Trey the Truth, another rapper here from Houston, who's always out there advocating for people, supported the No Mas movement. And then from there, as we grew out different events, because we've held events here in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, and we've been traveling every city, basically every weekend.
You've been going to all these cities as well?
Every weekend.
Wow. And now they have one in LA. Is that part of No Mas? Is that a separate?
So LA did their own thing, right? But we've gotten word that from that event on July 4th, we sparked those protests in LA, Miami, Arkansas, and places where you wouldn't even think protests would be. So
that's amazing.
And now that this No Mas platform is starting to filter out, other cities are starting to reach out to us like, hey, how can we start a No Mas chapter here? Or how can we volunteer? How can we do this? So it's really it's a real beautiful thing, man.
Well, the word about No Mas, bro, you are getting up quick, bro. As a matter of fact, I think Joaquin and Julian Castro, they did an Instagram live, I think, a week ago. And Joaquin mentioned, he goes, I just got back from No Mas Justice for Vanessa Guillen in San Antonio. I don't know who these guys are, but you might want to go join them and check them out, right?
Yeah.
And so you've reached the ears of Joaquin, Castro and that. So word is getting out more and more. Let me ask you, because you mentioned all these celebrities locally who have gotten involved, which is great. But how about these celebrities who haven't joined the cause? And I'm talking about the J-Los, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Sofia Vergara. I could go on. Cardi B, Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
I did a quick video about that. My question was, where's the outrage? These people, man, they join, they're on Twitter, and they'll boycott Goya, and they'll support every other movement. But it comes to Latinos, you and me.
Yeah.
And this was brutal what happened to her. Nothing but silence, not on Twitter. And I'll be honest with you, bro, I'm on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
I bombarded these people with different ways, like, hey, why haven't you used your platform? Say something. Speak up. Cardi B, everybody. Nothing. And I don't mind. I'll keep doing it, because, by any of these bigger celebrities speaking up, that voice is going to amplify like 100 times, right?
Yeah.
That's where it goes. And then maybe more media exposure. How do you feel about that? These celebrities who haven't joined the movement.
So we thought, in the beginning stages of this that because there's a lot of people that come to these events and, there's a lot of feelings and emotions and a lot of people always throw out, why isn't such and such here, or why isn't such and such supporting that? And while although that may be true and unfortunate, because I feel like everybody should support this, we try to always make sure that focus is on Vanessa, right? We can't dilute that message.
Right.
But for the people who are Latino celebrities and aren't supporting, there'd be many reasons. It could be that, they don't even know about this movement yet. I have friends.
They know now. They don't know.
Yeah, they know now. Yeah.
They know.
So I have friends back home, New York, New Jersey, and they didn't even know about the Vanessa case until I started sending them links and they started seeing what's going on, the stuff we're doing down here in Houston and in Texas. And all I can say is to the celebrities like Mario Lopez, J-Lo, Cardi B, remember your roots, right? We often forget where we come from. We often get tied up in little BS here and there. But when a 20-year-old Latina from Houston, Texas enlist to protect you and the rights and the freedoms that you have, and the ability for you to rap what you want to rap about and sing what you want to sing about, and drive the cars that you want to drive. There should be some type of respect and some homage paid to her, whether that's a Facebook post, whether that's, hey, share this movement or share this march. Hey, they're marching in DC on the 30th, go ahead and share.
Yeah, that would be nice. That July 30 movement, which we'll talk about, that'd be great. But go ahead, keep on.
So, at minimum, that's what Vanessa deserves. She was out there fighting for us. And I just feel like everybody in this country should be fighting for them. It doesn't matter political party, gender, race, ethnicity, none of that matters.
And if America, right, if we're so patriotic, right, you do something to a military member, USO, we go crazy.
Yeah.
We go nuts. That's why I said, where's the outrage for her? Besides, being, young Latina, Houston, Texas, she was a U.S. special first class?
Yep.
Right? Member of the U.S. Army military. Where's the outrage, man? That's
what I preach when I'm at these events. Us as Americans, we often get so enraged when our troops go overseas and get killed. But where's that outrage for when they get killed here? We need that same energy all day. All day, we need that same energy.
Right. And that's what I'm hoping, that Trump, I'm going to hate him, bro. But when he meets privately with this family on the 29th, it's for, he means it from the heart and something.
I hope he does the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. I hope he does. It's not just, chatter.
Yeah.
But But let me ask you, have you tried reaching out to these celebrities? I know you're busy with doing everything else, but has no mas, tried just sending a tweet where you copy these celebrities that we talked about? So retweet it. Do me a favor, retweet it. Because maybe coming from you and this big movement,
So we've reached out to a few. We've reached out to George Lopez. I saw he read my Instagram message. So if you read it, Mr. Lopez, you need to come out and support, man. You need to come out and support.
George Lopez is a friend of mine, George. Come on, remember?
He read it. I
just hope he members. He might not member.
Yeah. So we've reached out. We reached out to send up messages to Cardi. Just a few here and there. It is. I don't want to crucify anybody, right? It's a crazy ass time. It's a crazy ass time, man. I understand, but we got to get with the times. I've always been really big into reading the paper, turning on the news, whether you believe the news has BS on it or not. Everybody needs to be in tune with their surroundings, right? You need to understand what's happening around you, not just what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. And while the media does sometimes veer their message and maybe write the dialogue different, it's up to you as a person to come up with your own opinion of the situation, come up with your own feelings about what's really happened. So I encourage everybody, man, just look at your local newspapers, look at who your politicians are, and just stay current with your times, because there's so many things that happen that just get swept under the rug that a lot of people don't know about because they're not in tune with their surroundings. And as a community, brown and black, that's where we lose. And that's where we're dropping the ball.
Right. Well, let me tell you, first of all, we're not crucifying anybody. We're not crucifying nobody. We're asking them for their support.
Oh, yeah.
If I come to you and say, listen, do me a favor, bro. Retweet this for me. Support the Latino community. Promote the cause. I'm asking you, one Latino to another.
Yeah.
I'm not crucifying you. I'm asking you, do me a favor now. And they don't. They haven't. For any of the reasons you said, who knows? All I'm saying is, and I told them on Twitter, is I think it sucks.
Yeah.
That's what I said. So next time J-Lo, puts a post, hey, buy my new shoes and I got a new hat. I don't think so. I don't think so. The same thing with Lin-Manuel Miranda, when his new movie, West Side Story, comes out in September. Hey, come watch what? I ain't buying a ticket. That's just me.
No. I agree. I show support where support's given. And, right now, man, shoes don't matter. Movies don't matter. None of that BS matters. No. Like I said, when I see Mama Guillen on TV crying her eyes out, and I picture my mom or my grandmother, and that's what's most important right now. That's what matters, and that's where people should be putting their front foot forward to make sure that the attention is there.
And that's why when these celebrities, think about Vanessa Guillen's mother, the pain she's going through, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna take a pass. I'm gonna stay quiet. And then all of a sudden, somebody talks about beans. Let me jump on the bean, go your black bean wagon. It doesn't make sense to me, bro.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you think that a can of beans is more important in your life right now than the life of Vanessa Guillen. And bro, that just freaks me out. And that's why I'm so happy what you and Janis have created, bro. Because you right now, this is the spark. This could be the change that, and not even just now, in the future, where there's injustice for Latinos, you and your No Mas movement are going to be heard. We haven't had it until this point. I'll be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
I've never seen this a protest this big all over. I mean, like you said, all over LA, Austin, Kansas City. I mean, there's cities I never heard of that are having protests. And that's thanks to what you and Janis did, how you created this movement. So, this is good because this could be the voice that we've been missing. So I'm happy for that. Now, let's talk about the big day, bro. What is it, July 30th?
July 30th.
Washington, D.C.
Yes.
This is like, I'm a comedian. This is like performing, I don't know, at Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the gig, bro. I have to shine my shoes, comb my hair.
Oh, yeah.
This is it. You've reached Washington, D.C., bro, the capital. So tell us about that.
So, as everybody knows who's been watching the news, the family's going to meet with Donald Trump on the 29th. So they'll be already in D.C., and their lawyer is the one who set up this event. Right here now in Houston and all these other chapters of No Mas, we're currently in the process of, trying to organize a caravan and a convoy to go over to DC, get some buses and whoever wants to take their personal vehicles. But we want to make sure that No Mas and the Guillen family represented is in the best light possible, which obviously means that we need people to come out, right? July 30th is, like you said, it's kind of like the pinnacle. And while this is a marathon and it's not a race, this is a huge, huge step in getting justice for Vanessa Guillen and many more, soldiers that have had some injustice done to them. We need to make sure that not only as a Latino community, but as the Black community, the white community, we come out and we support the Guillen family. This is real historical, especially in the Latino community. This is one of those things where 20, 30, 40 years from now, your kids are going to ask you, where were you at on this day? And you don't want to tell them that you missed out because you didn't feel like driving or whatever the case is. Like I said, we're going to have room where people can come in the cars, carpool, things like that. It's just a super huge and monumental event that brings such respect and honor to the movement and Vanessa's voice. To just to think that you'll be walking around the same roads that MLK parade in the march was, brings chills to your body, or at least it should. And then to realize that it's for the Latinos this time.
When's the last time you saw that? If you saw that,
I've never seen that. This is my first time, and I will say that I'm privileged and honored to have been a spearhead, just a small portion of this movement, because this No Mas movement is really a grassroots community organization. Everything that we've gotten at these events, food, water, really has been within the community, Black and brown, white. Everybody pitched in for these events. So we haven't taken any donations, monetary value. It's legit the community coming together, bringing waters for each one another, bringing masks, hand sanitizers, and it's a beautiful sight. So July 30th, make sure you guys are in DC. Celebrities tweet out the poster event that you see all through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, because this is a big deal. This is kind of like where we stand our ground. This is it.
You heard that. If you know a celebrity, Latino celebrity, know somebody who knows somebody, tell them. Just do us one favor. Just retweet Instagram, wherever you are, use your platform. It's about the event. Don't say you support it, don't support it. Just retweet it. You don't even have to comment. Just, hey, here you go, retweet it. Do us that favor, please. Please do us that favor. Now, is there a meeting point that people meet at? Because if I want to go, where they meet you in Washington?
So if you want to go in Washington, I know at 9 o'clock, let me get the specific details. I want to make sure everybody gets this stuff.
I'm in Texas, so I might have to leave on 3 days before to get there. I'm driving.
Yeah. We're leaving Wednesday at 5 a.m. to get there. But at 9 a.m.
What day is this? July 30. What day is that? Saturday or Sunday? What day?
No, it's during the week. So
Okay.
the 30th is on a Thursday. Is when
Oh,
we'll
so-
be marching.
So
All right.
Thursday, July 30th.
That's it. That is
Right.
it. All right. So at 9 a.m., there should be an introduction of legislation. All right. At 10 a.m., the march from Capitol to the White House will start and commence. So we're all meeting at the Capitol, and then we're going to march down to the White House, National Mall, Union Square, 3rd Street, so forth and so on. But if you're trying to come, whether you come with us here in Texas or you're in different states and you want to meet us in D.C., at 10 o'clock, we're going to start marching from the Capitol all the way to the White House.
Nice. Okay. Now, I know you said, there's food, there's water, there's buses you have to pay for, and the community got together. Now, is there some place somewhere where people watching or hearing this can send you a donation?
Yeah. So I just want to make things very, very clear, right? Because when these things happen, there can be a lot of misinterpretation. Any type of monetary donations that we get will either go towards the marches and these events, because it does take some money to do these events, right?
Oh, right.
And we've been just super blessed that the community has come and done this, but we know that at certain times it may not always be that way. So if you want to volunteer your time, whether you want to be a part of your local respective chapter, whether you want to just volunteer for the day at a No Mas event, reach out to your local chapters. You can find them on Facebook, No Mas Houston San Antonio, or we have a webpage. You can go at nomosmovement.com. There's links there that you can follow, get on the email list to see future events. Go ahead and fill something out if you want to volunteer. But that's where you're going to want to do it. Go to nomosmovement.com, and you'll get all the information you need there.
Well, that's great. I can volunteer, participate. But I'm going to ask you again, where can I, right now, if I want to donate money for those buses, for that food, can I send you money?
Yeah. Go ahead and send the money, because like I said, we're securing the buses now.
So there's people out there right now who goes, man, I want to help out. I can't be there. I can't participate, but I can send you money to help. Where do I send it? You don't have a GoFundMe, nothing like that?
So go to nomosmovement.com and you'll see a GoFundMe there. There should be a link there as well. But anything helps. We're trying to get, like I said, we're working with other organizations out here like Field Day Houston. Whatever we can do to get family members, friends first on these buses. Me personally, I'm not getting on the bus. I'm giving my seat up to somebody else. I'm driving my own personal car and I'm going to follow the buses. But whatever you guys can do.
Houston, you're driving out of Houston?
I'm driving out of Houston, yeah.
About 2.5 days, right? Drive?
Driving straight through, it's about like 20 hours, 21 hours.
Right.
But
well, you do have a GoFundMe account.
Yeah.
And like I know, you sound like to me like you're somebody who's very humble, I like that, But at the end of the day, man, it costs money. There's expenses.
It does. It does.
All these organizations and foundations, they need money to operate. And why not, man? So don't feel bad to ask for it, man. You want to make this big, you want to make it successful. For example, like if you got 10 buses going out of Houston, right? That's fine. But let's just say if you had donations, I can get 15 buses going to Houston.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it, So send No Mas dinero, a little donation for the bus, a little water, because you're going to be sweating out there. It's summertime, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So before I go, I just want to make sure I covered everything with you, bro. So when everything is said and done, you got justice for Vanessa Guillen, let's fast forward, I don't know, a year, 2 years from now. What happens to the No Mas movement? Or even still, what happens in between? Like while this is going on, if there's other injustices, what are your plans now?
So, we've gotten to the point where, this has gained a lot of momentum. This movement was solely forged around Vanessa, right? So we're always here at No Mas going to pay homage to Vanessa, because without Vanessa's story, these other stories and these movements wouldn't be what it is today. So moving forward, once Vanessa gets her justice, because she's going to get her justice, we're not going to quit until she gets it. It's like I said, it was just the manner in which it was done, the cover up on which it was done. It was disrespectful, and us as Latinos, we're not going to tolerate. It's not happening. It's not happening. So, once we go to DC, we get the justice that we need. Between now and then, we're still going to do these protests. We're still going to do these caravans that we've been doing too. We do have events for people who are COVID conscious and may not want to come out. So we have convoy parades and protests as well. We're going to keep doing them. And if anybody has any stories, or if they feel like they're scared to talk about something that's happened to them in fear of retaliation, you hit us up. And we have help. We have other organizations that have helped us, and we'll get your story heard, and we'll make sure that you're not scared to tell on somebody because your superior is a sergeant and he or she's touching you, or the police did something to you because of your color or whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. No mas. I want to make sure I put out there publicly. It's not just for the Latinos, right? That we obviously support our Latinos because that's where we are, but this is a movement for injustice of anybody and everybody, black, brown, white, it doesn't matter. Right is wrong, and wrong is wrong, and right is right, and we need to just, as people, need to get back to that. There's so many gray areas, and people make things way more difficult than what it needs to be. We just need to start loving each other a little bit better, and getting back to right being right and wrong being wrong. That's it.
Well, that's good. So if right now, let's just say someone wants to come out and talk about they were, sexual harassment right now, they can call No Mas. Is that right?
Yeah, you call us. You go on the website at nomasmovement.com, fill an intake form out.
This is for like all military members, right?
It doesn't matter. Any injustice, we're gonna look into it, because we want to make sure that people have their voices heard. People don't always have that platform where they can go ahead and talk to somebody. We want to make sure that we're that liaison for you, because we can't let what happened to Vanessa happen to anybody else, whether you're in the military or not. Everybody's life matters. Your life matters. If you're watching this, your life matters. So we need to make sure that people out there do understand that they have a platform that they can contact. They have a shoulder they can lean on. And this is what we're here to do. This is what we're going to do for the long run. Latinos are going to have a place where they can feel safe. If you feel like, hey, these people are trying to deport, it doesn't matter. Any type of injustice, we're going to rock out with you, and we're going to support anybody who supports us.
Wow, yeah, that's so awesome. That's beautiful, man. I love that, man. I love hearing that. So once again, remind everybody, how do we reach you? How do we reach No Mas? I know you mentioned you have a website. What's the website name? No Mas.
So it's nomasmovement.com.
No Mas. How about all your social media pages? What are they?
So on social media, you can just find me as Andrew Rodriguez on Facebook. On IG, you can find me at December's very own 28. That's really where I'm most active on. There's always updates on there. There's pictures of events so you guys can see what it is. We are a beautiful organization from what I've seen so far. We're peaceful. If you get a chance, go on my Facebook, look at the pictures that happened on July 4th, and you'll see the beautiful event that happened where it was all inclusive. It didn't matter what color, race. Everybody wore their masks. Not one person took it off that I've seen in those pictures. So we did it really well because we want to make sure that we don't dilute the message. People are always going to talk shit about what we do or what we may not do. Right. And that's fine. But we want to make sure that we're all on the same page, because at the end of the day, at this moment in time, we're here for Vanessa. And that's what we want to make sure that the community, the politicians understand that's what we're here for. And we're not going to stop until they get justice. Great.
All right. So then you're on Facebook, Andrew
Rodriguez.
Andrew Rodriguez. They find you on Facebook.
Yep.
And then No Mas, if I go to nomasmovement.com, and what do you do? People are going to email you? Is that how
Yeah. So you can put in a link to join the emailing list. You'll get, like I said, up-to-date events. Go to No Mas Movement on Facebook as well. We have a Facebook page, and go there. But that's where you're going to want to go to contact myself or Janis and try to get involved.
Great. Well, also, you not only sparked a big movement with protests, but you've also sparked a big movement on Facebook. Right now, there's I'm part of maybe more than 20 Vanessa Guillen groups, and they're all supported. They're using their platforms, their Facebook pages, to bring justice. And I know you have yours going on, man. But when I see these different posts of over 20, groups for Vanessa Guillen, those are voices being heard, man. So you've also done that. And I want to shout out all those groups. There's too many, to mention, but I have Vanessa Guillen, Justice for Vanessa Guillen, missing, so all those Facebook groups, keep posting, and keep also, when you see Andrew Rodriguez on Facebook, you see his post, share it to all your friends. Everybody, even the friends you don't like, share it with your enemies. Who cares, right? The word's got to get out. So, and I'm glad, man. Again, you have any final words you want to say? Because it's an interesting conversation. Man.
I just want to make sure that the community and the world knows, don't wait for no mas. Don't wait for somebody else to make an event. If you feel strongly about something, go ahead and be your voice, be your own movement. Believe, do what you believe in. That's what Vanessa gave her life up for, is the right for you to do that. So don't wait just because there's not a no mas chapter in your city, or there's not a LULAC chapter in your city. Go ahead and do what you feel is right. Make the event. We're always open, just how we've been honored to have these older organizations like LULAC, who was there on Saturday with us in San Antonio, who it was a huge honor to basically get co-signed by LULAC with an organization that's just starting. Huge honor. I strongly believe that in order to keep this movement moving, we have to be teachers, right? So, hit us up. We'll tell you how we've gotten these events started and how they were successful. We're not in the business of taking credit. This is not what this is about. It's about each one teach one, one team, one dream type of thing. So, if you feel strongly about this, start a march, start a convoy. You have a voice in this. And like I said, this movement is based off of us in the community, and it only is successful for Vanessa if we just keep continuing that movement. So don't wait on us. Do what you got to do. Be proactive in your community. I can't stress to y'all enough, especially the younger generation like myself. Go out and vote. Go register. It's super important. I'll be honest, I have never really understood the importance until I started this movement. And I've dealt with politicians and speaking with politicians to see how important it is for you to vote in your local government. It's super important. When we start looking at policies that we want to change in the military, one of them is obviously going to want to be there has to be some policy, my brother, where if you're allowing women in your unit, there can't be only 3. I feel like that makes you such a strong target. We need to do better. We need to build a culture where men respect women. We need to build a culture where women feel safe wherever they go, whether that's the military, to their car, outside to take out the trash, whatever the case is. We need to do better as people. So, take this time to self-reflect about what's going on, whether it's COVID, whether it's Vanessa, whether it's Breonna Taylor, and just reflect and be one with yourself. Be real with yourself and ask what's the bigger purpose on why you're here. I know mine. It found me, and this is what we're going to continue to do.
Well, that's beautiful, man. And I want to thank you. I'll leave it at that. Thank you and your co-founder, partner, Janis Gonzalez, who unfortunately, I guess, had technical problems. Well, it looks like she was using she was on a Cricket mobile phone or something. Yeah. But anyway, Janis Gonzalez, thank you so much. Andrew, thank you so much, man.
My brother, it's a pleasure.
Respect and appreciate what you're doing. The Latino community loves what you're doing. You have our full support. And like they say, bro, pa'lante, man. Go forward. Pa'lante. And again, man, thanks again. And I don't want to end this by I can't end this without at least mentioning the names. This is a day for another conversation. But, Vanessa Guillen, of course, we got that, the movement, very important. But also for Gregory Gonzalez, who, again, disappeared. We know what happened. And recently, there's another one, bro, on the list. I don't know if you heard about it. What's his name? Mayhem Motor? I wrote it down. What is that?
Another one from Fort Hood who was found not on base, but somewhere around there. And
was he a Latino? It sounds like an Indian name. I don't know.
I think he was maybe Vietnamese or something like that. But regardless of the fact, it's not a coincidence that these soldiers from Fort Hood had things done to them and end up missing or unfortunately deceased. Something has to be done. The culture at Fort Hood needs to be changed. The leadership needs to be changed. And man, just go out there and support. I know the family's typically out there every Friday in front of Fort Hood. So if you're in the area in Killeen, please go out there, because I can't even express to you how surreal it is being in front of Fort Hood protesting, knowing the injustice that happened to Vanessa inside that facility. So there's a lot of stories, man. Hashtag I'm Vanessa Guillen, and you'll see all these stories of past, present women and men that, you know, have gone through some stuff. So if you're not educated on this situation, man, go out there and educate yourself, because it'll open your eyes.
Right. Well, listen, man. Andrew, again, thank you very much. Janis, you're always welcome here, man. If you don't want to use my platform, just give me a holler, bro. We'll have you on right away, man, so we can reach those voices, man. And if you need my help, whatever I can do, you know, let me know, man. I'm here to support you, bro. So
I appreciate you, hermano.
All right, man. All right. Be well, man.
Congratulations.
And we'll see you in Washington, D.C. on July 30th.
See you in Washington, brother.
All right, bro. Peace. Nice.